We got some exciting news today about EA Sports College Football 26. Yes, we're talking about College Football 26, not 25. It's nothing like major groundbreaking or anything like that, but EA officially announced College Football 26 is dropping this summer, which we were already fully expecting, but technically EA hadn't confirmed it. They hadn't said that it was going to be a yearly release. So it is official now. College Football 26 is dropping this summer. And this is what they posted on social media. We said this place would be full again. Thanks to our players, athletes, and fans for filling the house with us. Let's keep that kickoff energy till College Football 26 drops this summer. So obviously that is exciting, even though it was expected. And this won't be a long video, but I wanted to talk about when we can expect more information about CFB 26, as well as what we can expect for the actual game when College Football 26 comes out. I'm probably going to make a longer video talking about the things we can expect or that I expect to see in CFB 26, but quickly I wanted to touch on a few things. So when can we expect to hear more about CFB 26? Following the same timeline as CFB 25 marketing and previous other sports games, we can expect to see stuff in March and specifically the beginning of April. That's normally when they start heavily marketing these games. So we're only like 2 to 3 months away from getting like cover athlete, the official release date, actual images of the game, which is awesome to think about. And it's way easier to wait for this game than CFB 25 because we can play CFB 25 right now. Whereas before we were playing an 11-year-old game. So like a full year before CFB 25 dropped, we were all freaking out. Like, where's the information? Where's the news? Although they were just completely following a normal timeline for marketing a video game. Now we can simply relax. We know the game's coming out this summer, and we should see stuff here in the next couple months. Now, what can we actually expect for College Football 26? What differences or improvements will they make from CFB 25? The first thing I want to say is that CFB 25, in my opinion, was somewhat disappointing. I think it got overhyped and there was basically no way it was going to live up to the expectations that us fans decided to kind of put on it. And EA literally had to build this game from the ground up. So a lot of the things that we wanted to see weren't in the game, and I think part of that is simply because they did not have enough time. They were focusing on literally building this game from scratch. So it's my opinion, and even kind of a theory, that CFB 26 and 27 might be like the glory years for the college football video game series. And that's because we now have the foundation in CFB 25. You know, they have the building block and now they can build up from it. I am worried that down the line, EA's corporate greedy paws are going to end up ruining this game just like they have with other games, and that it ends up just becoming a microtransactional garbage fest with Ultimate Team and all that. But right now, CFB 25 is not that. Like, it is not Ultimate Team focused at all. It is not pay to win. It's none of that. So fortunately, right now, it's in a good spot with that area. So I'm thinking that CFB 26 and 27 are going to get a bunch of improvements. They're going to add on to CFB 25. And these next two games, I think, will be really, really good. And then maybe once we get to like 28 and 29, it's when it starts going downhill. That's simply a theory I have. But if there's any validity or truth to that, that means CFB 26 should be a very, very good game. I think the game mode that will see the most improvement or the biggest overhaul will probably be Road to Glory. I feel like that game mode was somewhat neglected because they were focusing on making sure they had just a good building block for the whole game in general. They needed the stadiums, they needed a presentation, and then obviously Dynasty is probably more important than Road to Glory, so they probably put more effort into that. So I think they're seriously going to put a lot of time and effort into improving Road to Glory and putting more depth into it and more features. I was simply just not interested in playing Road to Glory and CFB 25 because it wasn't that fun. There wasn't that much to do. And in my first video about College Football 26 that came out several months ago, it was actually really cool. We got a bunch of good information from a playtester sending me a leaked email with different ideas for College Football 26. I'll put that down in the description below if you haven't watched it. But they talked about maybe adding presentation and storylines to Road to Glory, and I think that will definitely be the case for CFB 26. But the very biggest thing I think they'll do to Road to Glory is simply add high school. Adding high school to Road to Glory would make it so much better, so much more fun, and I'm fully confident that they're going to add high school to Road to Glory in CFB 26. I could be wrong about that, but I have a very, very good feeling they're going to do that. Some other things we can expect to see in CFB 26, I definitely think they're going to improve the presentation in general. Mascots is a big one. I think they're going to add a lot more mascots to this video game because I think they only had like, 40 in CFB 25. They're obviously missing a lot from the game, so I'm sure they'll add a lot more in CFB 26. Dynasty will obviously be addressed as well. I think they're going to try to add more immersion by adding like different storylines, and I don't mean storylines like there would be in Road to Glory, but like the news feed and adding like maybe if they add back magazines like they had back in the day, different things like that I think you could see in CFB 26. In one of the interviews I had with Matt Brown, he talked about how EA considered putting like a messaging board in Dynasty mode, which would be super cool. I think something like that they could add to Dynasty mode to make it more interesting for CFB 26. But just in general, I think they'll add more layers to the game and Dynasty mode specifically with like recruiting and the coach carousel. That definitely needs to be better. Smaller things like formation subs and better stat recording to where you can look at like previous Heisman winners. You can actually see the stats of the current Heisman race. I don't know why that's still not a thing. But the point I was making earlier is now they'll have more time to focus on those smaller things, whereas before they were simply trying to just build this game from the ground up for CFB 25 and get a good foundation, which I think they did. I think it's a good foundation and we can expect good things in CFB 26. Couple other things I want to quickly touch on is team builder for one. I would love to see a stadium creator, but that's probably not going to happen, but at least give me a few generic stadiums so I'm not using, Alabama Stadium or California Stadium or Duke Stadium. Like I want to use a stadium that isn't already an actual stadium used by a real school. And from what I've heard, the stadiums are like the thing that takes the most time to generate and create. So hopefully now that all the real stadiums are in the game, other than Hawaii, hopefully they can focus on getting just a few generic stadiums we can use for our team builder creations. And then last thing I want to touch on is now that all of these players are basically already opted into the game, they already have the rosters. Obviously they'll have to make some changes with players transferring and incoming freshmen and different things like that. But for the most part, they're going to have the majority of these players already in the game. I'm hoping we can get better maybe likeness or player customization or even more accurate player ratings. That's a big one for me. Like there's so many players in this game, so it's tough to like make really, really accurate ratings. Like the second string running back on Duke, right? You might not really know what his overall should be, but now that we have most of these players already signed up for the game, maybe they can focus on actually getting these ratings more accurate, because you'll look at some teams or some players and you're like, yeah, this dude is clearly better than an 81 overall, or maybe this guy's actually way worse than a 92 overall and he was overhyped. Whatever it is, hopefully they can get that more accurate in CFB 26 since they'll have hopefully more time on their hands since they already have a foundation for this video game series. That will do it for this video. Like I said, I'm going to make another video of features I fully do expect to see in CFB 26. It's not going to be a wish list of things I want to see, but it's going to be features that I actually expect to see in CFB 26. I have high expectations for this game. I'm going to try to lower them a little bit because I definitely got way too excited for CFB 25. But as I've said a million times, they have a good foundation, a good building block. So I'm really thinking that CFB 26 and 27 are both going to be fantastic games. Thank you for watching. Subscribe or follow me on all platforms at TubbyCFB.